Well, hello, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? Yeah, wonderful. Well, hi, my name is Alberto Gomez. I'm our digital producer at Sahan Journal. Welcome to St. Paul Neighborhood Network, and thank you so much for coming to the Firsts.
Yeah, we're so excited. I'm Moini from NPR News. We are co-hosting this Sahan Community Live and North Star Journey Live event, and tonight, as you all know, we are celebrating all things first. Maybe the first in your family to go to college or buy a house.
Yeah, and speaking of home ownership, I want to give a quick shout out to tonight's sponsor. This event is generously sponsored by the Minnesota Home Ownership Center. You can meet with one of the home ownership advisors after the program to learn about the first generation home buyers community down payment assistance fund. And you can get a grab bag. I peeked into the grab bag.
Get your grab bag, everybody.
Oh, perfect.
It's going to be a good show.
I'm very excited.
We're very excited. So we have a great group of firsts here tonight. Our amazing speakers have overcome obstacles to achieve amazing successes in all areas. We're talking education, business, sports, and culture. We are thrilled to have them with us tonight. And we want to include your thoughts and questions during the show. So if you have questions or perspectives for our speakers, you can text us. Here's the number, 651-504-8170. Again, the number is 651-504-8170. And at the end of each interview tonight, we'll ask some questions from the audience to our speakers.
Yeah, that's right. The numbers are also on your stage in case you forgot. Let's welcome our first speaker to the stage. Everyone knows her as the senator from South Minneapolis, but did you know in 2022, she was the first person under the age of 26 to win a seat in the Minnesota Senate. Everyone, can you please welcome Zaynab Mohamed to the stage. You okay?
Elevator music. She made it. She made it. Senator Mohamed, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time. Let's just dive in. Tell us about your journey to becoming the first.
Thank you. It's good to be here this evening. Hi, everybody, and thank you, Sahan Journal, for hosting this important conversation. Wow, my journey. So I was a community organizer before I ran for office. I think for me, the murder of George Floyd impacted me in many ways, pretty close to my neighborhood, and just seeing how our city came together and the impacts that it sort of had in terms of what it means for us to build power together as a community, test and question the institutions that that are doing the work, and what our belonging looks like is sort of what got me to run.
See, I'm only in my 20s, 24 to be exact, and I can't imagine. You too?
No.
I
couldn't imagine being a senator that young. So how does it feel to be breaking this barrier, to be starting this journey?
Yeah, well, I was 24 when I ran. Now I'm 27. When I was first running, I was 24. You know, it's exciting. It's a big deal, right? And I feel honored and privileged to be able to do this, but it also comes with an immense amount of responsibility.
Absolutely, and we know that running for office is a big, huge undertaking, and being the first in this area, probably not an easy thing to do. What advice do you have for others who are looking to break into the types of roles in politics that you've pursued?
Yeah, I mean, I would say get to know your community, understand the issues that are impacting them. And often people run because those issues impact them. For me, I cared a lot about housing. I was a child of Section 8 vouchers that impacted my family and helped my family in many ways. And so understanding who in our community that helps, and how we can sort of sustain a program like that at the state level, and talking to people, my neighbors, and understanding who was on Section 8 vouchers, why they were on it, how do we get people out of poverty, was what connected me to the community, what made me feel like I could sort of do this role and this job. But, you know, like the issues that impact all of us are often impacting our neighbors, and it just starts with a conversation with your neighbor and ask them, what do you need, what are you going through, what am I going through, and how can we do better, and what what can we do?
Get to know the issues, get to know your community. A good place to start.
On the topic of your community and your family especially, this is no small undertaking to become a senator. How did they react when you finally achieved this?
Well, when I first told my mom I was running, I'm obviously an immigrant myself, a child of immigrants, and my mom said, why don't you just go to medical school? And like get a real job. And then when I won and we had a small party at a restaurant in the district, my mom was there and she's like, wow, I like thought you were getting a new job. Everyone's so excited and like clapping for you. And so, my family was really excited. They were obviously really supportive, but it took a lot of convincing because being in the public eye comes with a lot of scrutiny.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we are still collecting audience questions, but I do wonder, just me personally, when you've encountered challenges, which I'm sure you have, of people saying, oh, well, you're too young for me to listen to what you're saying, how do you manage that? How do you approach that? And what advice might you have for others who are younger and want to get in there, want to be in the mix?
Yeah, I mean, I'm young, but I think when I was running, I wanted people to respect me, and I wanted people to understand where I was coming from, my perspective, and why I was doing it. So often I was like trying to find ways to physically look older, right? Which is kind of impossible to do when, you're me. And, just this past session, I was in my office. I was standing right in front of my office, and this older couple comes in, and they're like, hey, are you Senator Mohamed? And I'm like, oh, yeah, it's really nice to meet you. And they're like, you look a lot younger. And I'm like, I'm young. And so the woman looks at me up and down, and she goes, are you even old enough to serve? And I'm like, I think so. I think so.
I'm here.
I'm here. But I deal with stuff like that all the time on the doors. And then there are people who are just so excited to just see, somebody who's the age of their child be in office, representing them, do good work. And so it comes with a little bit of a awkwardness often. But if I can just be like, I might be the same age as your daughter or your son, but I'm doing, I think, a pretty good job.
Thank you. We do have one question from the audience. You've mentioned a few times that it's a privilege, but also a burden. What are the hard things about being in the public eye?
Yeah, I personally, when I ran for office, I'm somebody who ran because I have a deep understanding of how policy impacts people in a tremendous way. Everything that we do is political. Every issue that is passed, every policy that's done impacts people in a different way. And I think being in the public eye, often people forget that electeds or politicians, they are not like, what's the right word? Like a celebrity, that we're just regular people who do regular jobs, and outside of this, we have actual jobs, right? And it's hard to sort of have like a deep understanding of like how do you show up in a public eye and do a good work, but then also have people sort of humanize you as just like a regular human.
Yeah.
But it's all about just like understanding at the end of the day what you're doing, why you're doing, and then like letting people know I'm just a regular girl from South Minneapolis.
Yeah, and just focusing on the work. Zaynab Mohamed, thank you so much for joining us tonight and being so open and sharing. We're going to talk with you later in the show, but for now you can take your seat again. Many immigrants come to this country to start a better life. Some start their own businesses, and others purchase land and become organic farmers. And not everyone, but our next speakers know a thing or two about becoming an organic farmer. Everyone, please welcome Rodrigo Cala to the stage. Elevator music, again, as you make your way to the stage.
How are you doing today, Rodrigo?
Thank you so much for being here. Organic farming, we're excited to learn about it.
Thank you so much for being here tonight, Rodrigo. So you come from a family of farmers. How does it feel to be the first in your family to own land in the United States?
I can talk a little bit about my history and my journey. I arrived in this country in 1998. I was working in a factory for 10 years making horseshoes. We was the person who made the tooling and teaching the robots. We making 8,000 horseshoes every 4 hours in each line. But at the same time, I grew up in in Mexico City, in a rural community in Mexico City, and I remind that when I take trainings in Minnesota. So the main thing for me was to thinking I want to buy a house, but at the same time I have the opportunity to buy a farm, and it's the same time. And I build my credit from zero. I take business classes for my farm. So one of the main things I figured it out in the beginning was the power for getting your own land. So take for me 6 years to do that. And one of the main reasons to do that is I really like to be on open spaces. So when I get the opportunity, I learn about the system, I learn about how this country runs, because when I arrived here, I don't speak any word in English. So I learned a few different things about language, computer use, and how this country runs. So as soon as I get that, so then I have the ability to get this farm.
Yeah, there's so much drive and discipline that you have to have as an immigrant, right? To come to a new country and to learn a language and learn how the financial system works. And you did all of that, which is so worthy of celebration. You now own a 46-acre organic vegetable farm in Turtle Lake, Wisconsin. 46 acres. And that's about an hour and a half from the Twin Cities, for anyone who's wondering. Tell us specifically about organic farming. First of all, like, what does it mean? And how did that come to be for you?
Okay, organic farming is we don't spray any any conventional things on the farm, any sprays or any conventional fertilizer. We don't spray that. We're really working with the nature so we can grow healthy and delicious food in the farm. So one of the main things I see is the economical way to see my farm. At the beginning I was thinking I can be my farm in two ways, like a hobby farm or a business. So one of the main things changed my life in this country is when I was working in a fast food restaurant, and the manager on that time, he told me, the Mexican people are hard workers, and in some ways it's very good for people, but in other ways very offensive. Why? Because we have the skills, we have the abilities to run businesses, not just to work hard. So when I start seeing my journey on farming, because I was working on this factory and then I switching for farming, it's totally different life. And one of the main things to working on a different day every day. And I have like a 1-minute history about today. I start my day really, really early in the morning. My tractor broke down. And I was really on a hurry with time. And I was working with one of my coworkers, and I just tried to run in so fast because I need to be on time in here. So then as soon as I tied the last ball, so the cutter, because we harvest corn today and we are in a hurry. So then I start running, and my daughter, she has everything ready for me. So she told me, we don't have enough time for you to take a shower. So,
You're fine. It's all fine.
so then I take my keys and I say, okay, let's go. And farming is I don't gonna lie to you, it's really a different life. It's not a life for everybody. But if you have the ability to enjoy that, I mean, you are in the other side.
And for anyone who's going to be listening to this and can't see, you pulled a wrench out of your pocket because he's on the go.
Always prepared, right?
Yeah.
Rodrigo, you work with Minnesota's Latino Economic Development Center to help other immigrant farmers get into organic farming. When you meet with these farmers, what advice do you often give them?
Okay, the first thing what I tell them is we need to change our brain of thinking. Why? Because in this country you need to think in a business when you get a farm. If you don't have enough money to pay the mortgage, you need to really set your mind like, okay, how much money I need for paying the mortgage, how much money I need for buy a tractor, how much money I need for buy a truck, how much time I gonna spend for going to a market. So your brain need to switch really a lot. So it's what I try to tell the new immigrants or the new farmers, like start small, rent a piece of land for a few years, focus on the business side, and then if you figure it out about what products or what things you can sell or you can offer to people, then you are in a good track.
Thank you.
Should we get one audience question in?
I think we have a couple today. Would you want to go?
Sure. So one of our audience questions for you, Rodrigo, is how does being first generation influence the way you do your work or live your life? What are the strengths and challenges?
Wow. Having the ability to get land on this country is so powerful for me because when I finish my day, I feel like this is mine. So one of the main things for people, it's this country is no country of dreams. It's a country of goals and opportunities. If you have the ability to figure it out that from the beginning, then you can change your life and the life of all your family. And for me, try to encourage. I mean, people when people thinking about farming, the people they thinking it's a dumb person or it's a poor person. It is not true. I mean, farming is a really huge industry. I encourage my kids to developing apps, to developing machinery, developing programs for computers about try to helping farmers. So the opportunities for the new generation is huge. So one of the main things on this country, the age of farmers on this country is 58 years old. So who is going to be the next generation of farmers on this country? Immigrants can be one of the solutions. And I think the cake is so big. So if a new immigrant thinking or wants to be on a farm business, I think the opportunities are big.
Sure.
Yeah. The next question we have from our audience is, can you talk about the struggle to represent the opinions of your community, but also trying to be yourself?
The language.
How do you mean?
Barriers. And when I was talking about, I mean, people refer to Latino community like hard workers. In this country, there is like 3 or 4 million of farm workers, mostly in the south of the country, California, Florida, Texas, Arizona. So when you see a Latino, this is the history, what's happened to me on, my farm is 70 miles from here. is in the middle of a very conservative community, white community. So when people approach to me and they say, hey, I want to buy some chickens, I want to buy onions, I want to buy winter squash, and they see me and they, can I speak to you, to the boss or to the owner? And I say, I am the boss, I am the owner. So it's one of the main things I see over the years. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to believe in our capacities. We deserve nicer things too. And one of the main things, if we believe on that thing is going to happen. If you don't believe you deserve, then that thing's not going to happen.
I think we got one more question. We got time for one more question, yeah? This one's going to lighten the mood. What is your favorite crop to grow? And what would you like to grow sometime in the future?
My favorite crop is two, garlic and broccoli.
Ooh. Why garlic?
Yeah, and why?
Yeah.
Because all the communities, they looking for those. Every community, I mean, it's no matter where you came from, you're gonna eat garlic and broccoli too.
Here's some confirmations in the crowd. Thank you so much, Rodrigo. It was wonderful having you up here. We'll talk to you later in the show, yeah?
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my history. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
An hour with every single person in here, honestly.
Can we just have like a dedicated night for everyone? Is that something we could do?
So I'm wondering, Alberto, talking about firsts.
Yeah.
Very exciting. We probably have some other firsts in the room.
Yeah, I wonder, do we have anyone in the crowd who would be comfortable sharing their first story? Are they the first in their family to do anything impressive? I know I'm personally the first one to fall on stage while singing Xanadu in roller skates. So if anyone can top that, I'd be impressed.
Doesn't have to be that specific either.
I mean, it could be. Do I see anyone in the crowd?
Want to give just a quick...
Very low stakes. I can walk up to you, as a matter of fact, so you don't have to be on stage. Or hand raise? Anyone? Hold on. Over here. You look a little shy, but do you have anything you would like to share with the crowd tonight?
I do not, sorry.
All right, we'll keep going around. We're going to try two more people. How does that sound? Over here. Hello. Hi, I'm Alberto. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Melania.
Melania, are you the first in your family to do anything?
Yes, I think so.
Well, what is it?
I'm the first full-time Karen interpreter in the state of Minnesota, which makes me the first one in the nation.
Okay, give her a hand for that. That is no small shrug. How does it feel?
I think when you have self-affirmation, it doesn't really matter what people say. You just keep going in your journey and better the community.
And what is being a translator? Did I mute this? What does being a translator for your community mean for you personally?
Yeah, so I'm a court interpreter, so I interpret for defendants that speak the Karen language. The population that I work with, they're refugees, and where they come from, there's no such thing as due process or law. So I think it's important to represent them and show them that there's nothing to be fearful, and we're in a new country, and there's no bribery. You're not guilty the first thing when you're seen in front of a judge. So just being there.
Is there anything else you would like to share with the crowd tonight before we move on to our next segment?
Yeah, I just moved here from Colorado, so I would love to get connected with everyone, make friends. I live in west of Minneapolis, so I'd love to get connected and get to know people.
Well, thankfully, you'll have plenty of opportunities later in the night. We'll be having a nice meet and greet with everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, that was really, really nice. Thank you for
sharing. And I know everybody is very humble and doesn't want to, speak up, but we have an easier question for you. Do we have any sports fans in the audience?
Yeah. Yeah? I'm hearing a couple quiet.
Well, we've got one.
Okay, how about specifically any soccer fans? Okay, a little more excitement. We love to hear that. We have a wonderful treat for you today. Our next speaker is a wonderful soccer star. In 2020, Michael Vang became the first Hmong soccer player to play professionally in the United States. Michael, do you want to come up stage and join us?
Yay, thank you.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, Michael, so we understand you started playing the sport very young. What was that like for you, and then your journey then to becoming a first?
I got started at 5 years old by a movie called Shaolin Soccer. My dad kind of introduced that to my siblings and I at a young age, and after that we started going out to the backyard playing right away. And it just kind of took off from there. When I reached, I think, age 13, 14, I finally realized that this was something I could do as a career in the future. And when I was 16, that was my first time moving away from home to attend Shattuck St. Mary's, which is a boarding school in Faribault, Minnesota. And I was really fortunate enough to spend 2 years there, graduate, and I committed to play Division I at University of Pacific, but I decided to forego my college playing career to go to Portugal for about 1.5 to 2 years, and things didn't work out over there for me, so
That's okay.
I decided to come home, and I actually ended up working at Target for about, I would say, 2 days. and 2 days, and I realized that I still wanted to chase my dream to become a professional soccer player, and I was only 19 at the time, and I was like, I'm gonna give it one more try. So I went to an open tryout at Forward Madison. And thankfully that worked out for me, and I was able to sign my first contract at the age of 19, and kind of just took off from there. I was able to travel around the U.S. playing for Columbus Crew, Portland Timbers, and also Miami FC, and then I was really fortunate enough to represent Laos, where my ancestors came from. Last year, I was able to play in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers first round.
Wow.
And yeah, I think that was just a really special moment for me. That's kind of where it is.
Just to follow up, do you sit and think, oh, I'm a first, or what does it mean for you within your culture to be in this position?
It means a lot because I was able to finally be the first one to break down that barrier for Hmong people to make it to the professional level. And it does come with a lot of pressure and responsibility. But I think being able to be an example for the younger generation and to inspire the youth to, want to reach where I came, where I ended up, or go past me. So that's something that I'm really proud of and really excited to see as well.
The first, but you don't want to be the last.
That's right. Michael, you mentioned just 2 days at Target. What pushed you to say, no, this isn't it. This isn't what I want?
I don't know if you can even say you worked there.
You visited.
I wouldn't say I don't know,
it's
but
like filling out paperwork.
yeah, it was just I would work that 9 to 5 job, and I didn't really have time to train for anything, and I just felt like my heart it wasn't finished, and my goal was still there to achieve, and it was close. I felt like I was right there. I just needed the right person to give me a chance.
Impressive. So you come from a family of soccer players. In fact, your father, Vang, started the St. Paul United Soccer Club on the east side. Very impressive. What are some of the challenges you overcame in your journey to become a soccer player?
I was always the smallest person on the field, so that was kind of a challenge for me. I was playing 2 years up every time with my brother. Being at the height of their chest or their stomach even, it was really tough for me, but I think that's what also got me better as a player. It gave me a lot of different ways to kind of dribble the ball, pass the ball, and different movements I could do, and I think that's what really helped my game as I got older.
Mm-hmm. So we understand you actually retired from the game in June 2023, so like last summer, but your love and your passion for it, I'm assuming, continues, clearly. What are you doing to give back or to kind of stay within the atmosphere of soccer?
So, yes, unfortunately, I did retire through ACL and MCL injury, and also a broken ankle as well. So,
Sorry.
yeah, but I just wanted to be able to walk in like the next 10, 15 years.
Sure.
So,
Reasonable goal.
but yeah, now to be able to stay around the game, I've held camps for kids to come and join and train, and I recently started a nonprofit organization called Michael Vang Sports Foundation to give lower income families the opportunity to play club sports with emphasizing on their mental wellness as well. I think that's a really important thing that athletes go through, especially myself. In my professional career, I definitely hit some pretty hard times in my life mentally. So I think kind of the experience that I went through, I know that there are a lot of athletes that are seeking help, that need help in this field, and their sports psychology is relatively a new field to study in. So I decided to take that route and do my master's in sports psychology. And yeah, so right now that's kind of where I see myself heading into.
Amazing.
Fantastic. We have our first audience question for you. Besides your parents, who were your biggest champions?
I would say all my siblings in their very own unique way. My brother Brian, my sister who's in the audience, Chelsea, and my older sister, Maddie. We've all gone outside and trained together, so we all pushed each other every single day to try to get better. Unfortunately, Chelsea ended her career early with an injury, but Brian and Maddie, they knew how to get the best out of me, and I did the same with them. So I don't think I'd be here or would have achieved anything without, the push of my siblings.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Another audience question, probably our last one here. What is your favorite team in the English Premier League?
There's a right answer here.
See, I don't really have a team in the Premier League. I'm more of a Barcelona fan, but if I were to support a team right now, it would be Arsenal. So Arsenal is the team that I would support.
Okay, we're all entitled to our opinions. I think those are all the audience questions that we have right now, but I am curious, if I were to purchase an older copy of FIFA, can I play as you?
It wouldn't be on there. I don't know if you guys know the game eFootball, but I am on that game.
Ooh,
yeah,
cool.
So if you guys want to, you guys could probably look me up on the game. I probably would be on there, but with Miami FC, but yeah.
That's probably another first. Michael, thank you so much. We'll catch up
Thank
with
you
you.
so much.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
catch
I
up with you
appreciate it.
again in a little
Of
bit.
course. Have a wonderful time. You guys enjoying the show so far? Thank you. Wonderful. Well, we're going to take a small 5-minute break, and we'll socialize, say some nice hellos, maybe grab another bite to eat. I need some coffee. And then we'll be back with a nice, fun performance. How does that sound, yeah? All right.
All right, break.
We'll be back in 5.
And welcome back. If you're just joining us, I'm Nina Moini with NPR News. And I'm here with Alberto Gomez from Sahan Journal for a combined North Star Journey Live and Sahan Journal conversation where we are celebrating first. So remember, you can send your thoughts, your questions for our speakers by texting this number 651-504-8170. Again, that's 651-504-8170.
All right. We can't wait to hear what you have to ask our speakers tonight. Nina, are you ready to laugh?
I am.
You're a fan of comedy, I take it?
Who isn't a fan of comedy?
I think we have a wonderful stand-up comedian tonight. Would you like to introduce him?
Yeah. So coming to the stage now, and feel free to come on up, we have Abenezer Merdassa. Come on down. Hello.
Hi.
You can have a seat
whichever you feel
for first
comfortable
if
with.
you want. Yeah.
I'll get comfortable.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you so much for being
Hello.
here.
Hello, Abenezer. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Living the dream. I dreamed of this moment. No, we're very excited to have you on stage. But I think our audience would like to get to know you a little bit. So, real quick, what got you into comedy? And how did your family react when you said, this is what you want to do?
They were not very happy. They were not. I had real tangible aspirations. I was in college. I was studying to be a software engineer, and then it was finals, and I was looking for anything except for studying to do, and I found an open mic nearby, and I've done it for 6 years. Still haven't taken that exam, but
Amazing. Well, thank you. We'd love to have you start your show.
awesome. All right, nice. Hello, how are you guys doing? You guys good?
Woo!
Yeah, give yourselves a round of applause one time for being here today. This is fun. Give it up for Sahan Journal, your host for tonight. They've been very nice. Is this on? I don't know if this is on. All right. Yeah, my name is Abenezer. I'm happy to meet you. A lot of important people. I am the clown for the night. I'm the ease. I'm an immigrant. I moved here when I was like 10, 11 years old, which is fun. I love eagles. I love guns. I love everything they do here. Moving here was great, except for like one thing I discovered when I got here. I found out that like a lot of Americans like to use my childhood as blackmail when their kids act up or they won't eat. They just go like, "Hey, think about all those kids in Africa." How are you guys? You guys thought about me? Dude, my fondest memories are why some of you guys ate broccoli and drank milk. So this is amazing. It gave me strength. I come from a very religious family, and my mom's she loves God. So much so that she learned English, Rosetta Stone from the Bible. And so a lot of my texts are unnecessarily beautiful, you know? One time my phone was like, "Ba-ding!" And then I looked at it and it said, "My beloved son, you have forgotten your headphones in the basement. Be blessed," you know? She talks to me in King James, you guys. It's amazing. It's amazing. Moving here was fun. I will say there's some conflicts I never expected, if I'm gonna be real. When I first moved here, a lot of kids were like, "You smell like food." Why? Why do you always smell like food, you know? And I was just like, hey, that's just what my mom loves to do, you know? I don't ask you why you smell like Chardonnay all the time, do I? You know, I'm not. I don't know. Things were weird, man. Things are weird. Like, I remember when I first got here, Harry Potter was all the buzz, and I tried to get into it, and it was tough for me because I was just discovering the English language, and a lot of their words are made up, right? It doesn't mean anything. But I went to, this was going to be a heavy one, guys. But I went back to it as an adult, and I don't know. I don't think it's for me, like the story. Because it's about a group of people that like to meet in secret places. They dress in cloaks. They're chosen by bloodline, and they're led by a grand wizard. You know what I mean? I know a group like that, and they're not sending me any letters, you guys. You know, they're not. I don't know. I don't like wizards. To be honest, though, just in general, I think we're beyond them. Because you could walk up to one and be like, "Oi, mate, I have this magic mirror. It lets you talk to anybody in the realm." And you're like, "Yeah, but that's FaceTime, though. You know, like, we got that." I don't know. I just think we're beyond them. But I do think there's one thing everybody's excited for that we're not, like, there yet, which is, like, aliens. Everyone's, like, hyped up. I don't think we're there yet. I don't mean, like, technologically. I just mean socially. Because we are all the human race. And yet we've had things like racism. Can you imagine how bad we're going to be when there's, like, an actual different race here? How terrible we're going to be to them? Yo, if we're not, I'm going to be a little offended. I'm not going to lie to you, you know? I just want to ride with y'all once. I want to be a wizard. I don't know. I'm in love. Anybody else here in love?
A loveless
I guess
room.
maybe that could be a first you guys could try out. I'm in love. I guess since you guys don't know, I'll let you know. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I like to think of myself as like a romantic guy. I like to think of myself as a romantic guy. Here's what I do to make my relationship last. Like my girlfriend, she loves to travel, but she hasn't gotten to do that recently. And so what I do to simulate that experience for her is just like, I'm just really distant when we talk, you know, so I can make her feel like we're worlds apart, but I'm right there, you know, that's what I do for love, gentlemen, you know. This Valentine's Day, ghost her, okay? Just let her see. Oh, man. How much time do I have? Do one more and get out of here? Okay, I'll do one more and get out of here. Okay, I'll do one more and get out of here. Let's see. I am looking for new friends tonight. I'll say this. I'm looking for new friends. I don't like my friends. I think they're terrible people. This is what really got me. This is what really got me. My buddy, he went through a breakup, and I was on the phone with him, and he was crying, and I was totally cool about it. I didn't giggle once or anything, and he has a full beard, you know, talking about, I didn't laugh once, you know? And at one point, he was just like, you know what, man? You've been there for me since high school, college, and now. And I was like, yep. And then he was like, I hope the day comes when I can be there for you when you feel this way. And I hung up on him immediately, right? Because that's an awful person, dude. If I'm your friend, I don't ever want to be there for you. That is an indication that things have gone wrong. But here, this man is just hoping, you know, just praying the calamity strikes me. He was just like, yo, I hope somebody smashes your heart into 1,000 pieces just so I could text you, keep your head up, dog. Like, what are you talking about? All right, that's my time. My name's Abenezer.
Yay!
Thank you guys for having me. If you guys want to see me, I'll be at Comedy Corner tomorrow. And yeah, okay. All right, bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, Abenezer.
Oh, goodness. How about another round? Come on.
Just one
It was
more.
great.
He needs it.
It was like, there was like, you know,
Yeah.
all topics.
I'm emotionally
It was pretty
devastated.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've had trailblazers of all types tonight, from politics to sports, and we're not done yet.
No, not even close. We're only halfway through this show. Our next speaker is not shy of expressing herself through writing. She's a writer and one of the first Karen children book authors in Minnesota. Please welcome to the stage, Remona Htoo.
And here she comes, and she has a copy of her book with her, and we're so happy. But first, we want to just ask you a few questions, Remona. Thank you so much. Yep, and that's for you. Tell us a little bit about your story of being a first.
Oh, okay. So being a first, I don't, growing up, talking about yourself, my culture is known for being very humble.
Yeah.
So we don't talk about ourselves, or otherwise you'll be considered being, what is the other word for cop?
Yeah, well, but you know what? Tonight's an exception.
Okay.
You're allowed to
Yeah.
hype yourself up.
Yeah.
Okay, I will talk about me then.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
So, as you know, the Karen community in Minnesota is rapidly growing. There are over 1,500 residents living in the state. And as of this year, St. Paul launched an elementary program in the Karen language and culture at Wellstone Elementary. As an author, what does it mean for you to see your culture and your language incorporated at schools?
Oh, it means so much to me, and then also I can say that for the community too, because a few years ago so I moved to Minnesota about 6 years ago, okay? And there's a big population of Hmong here, and the community is resettled, and then they have, form these community services, and there's schools and in every corners, especially I live in the East St. Paul area, so but for the Karen community, it's oh, I wish we have a Karen class in school. So I'm wow, I would love to see that. So just not too long ago, I heard about the news. I was thrilled, and it means so much to me because growing up, for 10 years, I lived in refugee camp. So for 10 years, I never questioned myself, who am I? I know that I'm Karen. I grew up around the Karen, among the Karen people, the language, the culture. But then, I moved here when I was 12. So, I have having to learn, a new language, new cultures, right? And then, try to fit in, especially that age, around that age, it's not easy. So, it's try to fit in. I try so hard that I feel I'm losing part of myself, So I know that for the future generations, kids that just got resettled here, I know that they'll try so hard and question themselves, who am I? Where do I belong, right? So having the Karen culture and the language incorporated in the St. Paul Public School. Is it's so crucial to me because I want kids that grew up here, that came here at either early age, they were born here. I want them to maintain the language, also knowing who they are exactly among so many diverse culture backgrounds, and then also coexisting with other culture and people from different backgrounds, and just it's so important to me because if you know who you are and and you don't question who you are, then it's, I feel we can coexist so much smoothly.
Absolutely, and I think what you say really resonates with so many of us who are immigrants and are between cultures or in different cultures. And you talk about humility and emotions, and sometimes how we're almost repressing emotions or suppressing them. And so your book, titled "I Am Here for You," really normalizes talking about feelings and emotions, particularly with children. Mm-hmm. So why did that resonate with you? Why did you want to talk about emotions and with kids in this book?
Okay, so this book, I Am Here for You, this is personal. So I especially wrote this book actually for my inner child, and then also for my daughter, she's 4. Yeah, this one is heavy. It's just that growing up, I just have, especially like grew up. I just have like a lot of like childhood traumas. So, 1 second.
We understand. Yeah, take your time.
So I just want I know that for the Korean people or people that grew up in the war zone and people that come from generation of traumas, right? Talking about feelings, expressing feelings, or it's not like a luxury, you can't just sit around and connecting with your parents, let's go, we're on the move, let's go, we're on the run. So now that we're here, we're building a new home, and then we're raising these kids, and I just want it better for my child, better for kids that are going to grow up here. I just want a more secure kids. I want kids that have strong bonding with the families and parents.
And that doesn't mean you abandon your own culture. You just make your own life better and make it work for you. Ramona, thank you so much for sharing. Can we hear an excerpt from your book?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
You can head up to that microphone if you want.
Would you like to sit and read where you're sitting?
I'm going to stand up there.
Okay.
Thank you. So, I'm here for you. And my illustrator is Christmas Paul. She's also a Korean artist. She's the first to, illustrate my book, and this is her first time too. So she's the first, yes, and she lives in Colorado. So I'll read some pages in both language, so not the whole books, but it is pretty short. So I'm here for you. You ope ilenogo. Know that Momo and Papa are here for you. Tinyalo Momo ra Papa ope ilenogo. So Momo, mom's mother, Papa is dad or father. I know that you have a big feelings and must express them. Yithinyalo no ora tatuba dodo mumuda pa doniga papa plato. And in the books, talking about different feelings, like if you feel happy or frustrated or mad or just any kind of emotions or feelings, it's okay to express them. Feeling curious. I won't shut you down. Ask the questions. I won't, And I got to the last page. I am here for you and will love you however you feel. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ramona. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. So next we're going to open floor up to audience questions, but before we get to that, what does this book mean for you personally?
For me, it's just, it's just more of a reminder to me that I am loved, and I don't need to earn to be loved. I deserve the love. And then also for this book, I just hope to spark a parent out there, It's like parenting is hard for parents, okay? And sometimes, with all these feelings, with all these emotions, you don't know what to do with it, especially for somebody who came from their needs are not being met as a child. And so for me, I just hope to spark, and then also to, whenever I read the book, back then, when I was a child, whatever I feel, it's like I got shut down. It's like, you don't feel this, just be a good girl, don't be mad, why are you crying? So those feelings, and then also for my daughter, it's okay if she's mad, I would still love her, she won't have to question me. I'm being naughty today. Do you still love me? She doesn't need to question me. Yeah, it's just more of for me and for myself.
So healing, it sounds like. And I'm curious, Ramona, what has the reception been? Have you heard from other parents who might relate to you and who read the book and said, this is great? Or how does that make you feel? What have you been hearing?
So not a lot of feedbacks, just because, like, you know, talking about emotion, expressing feelings, and talking about like mental health, especially in my communities, is still a work in the progress. So I'm just hoping that, you know, somebody will see the value in this book, and then just, you know, just a spark of a conversation starter. Yeah.
We have a first audience question for you. Did you find the process of writing a book and getting it published difficult?
Oh, so I'm a self-published, so I did it, yes, everything come out of my pockets. 2020, pandemic, I was unemployed. Yes, yeah. I stayed with my daughter for a few years. Before that, I worked in the social services field, so my background is social work. So, yes, it was tough. You know, I just felt like not working, not like doing things that I like to do, I love to do, you know, serving the people. I feel like I just losing some part of myself. But yes, I was I was unemployed for, and then yes, it was difficult. It was expensive, and then also it is expensive learning journey just because there is so. I don't know. It's like I don't know any Korean author, so it's so hard. Like I'm like, who do I talk to? Like you know, what advice? You know, also like I moved to Minnesota not too long ago, and I just don't know, you know, anyone that to reach out to, and like you know, of course, like I try to put myself out there, you know, asking for a question, but still, you know, I just have a lot of doubt just because I'm like, okay, I came here to the U.S. as at age 12. I don't know any English then. I only learned English at the age of 12 and on, and I'm not even like a native, you know, English speaker. So just battling with a lot of my inner. Yeah.
Sure, that's so relatable, and thank you, Remona, so much for sharing. And you are definitely putting yourself out there tonight, and I know it's a lot more people are going to hear your story and maybe check out the book.
Yes,
I am here
please
for
do.
you.
Yes.
Remona, thank you so much for, and we'll catch up with you again during the panel.
Thank you for.
Thank you.
Give it up for Remona, everybody.
Nina, you have something in common with our next speaker.
Yeah.
You've both had careers in TV news in Minnesota. Oh my God, all three of us have actually.
Well, mine's in the past far. And our next panelist is thriving.
Very
So St. Paul native Chenue Her is the first Hmong man to become a TV news anchor in the United States, and he has just returned back to us from Iowa, and he is anchoring Fox 9's morning show. Let's welcome Chenue to the stage. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, it feels good to be home.
Welcome back
Yeah,
home.
thank you.
So how does it feel to be back home and anchor at a news station that you were watching as a kid?
It feels like home. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. It's very full circle. I grew up with my parents in the mornings as we get ready for school, as they get ready for work. We watched Fox 9's morning show, and so to come home and now be on that show in particular that my parents still watch and work alongside other people that I watched growing up, it's very full circle, and just feeling like home is probably the best way to put it. I mean, it's the ultimate homecoming. I couldn't have drawn it up any more like picture perfect.
You can tell he's the TV person because he's lighting up the room. You're like projecting, you know.
Usually I'm asleep by now, so
It's a natural.
Well, thank you for staying up with us. We're so happy for you, and I know what that feels like,
Yeah.
you know, when you've been watching people growing up, and then you admire them, and then one day they're a friend of yours, and it's pretty amazing. And we're lucky to be in the news market that we're in, but it's been a journey for you. So you grew up on the east side of St. Paul. You were an anchor at Good Morning Iowa in Des Moines for a long time, I think. And so you were there when you became the first male Hmong news anchor in the country. And I've been following you for years on social media, and you've always been such an ambassador for the culture, you know?
Yeah.
And I just wonder what motivates you to really do that and to really be present for that and for the community.
It's always been really important for me to be very true and authentic to that part of me. Being Hmong, being from Minnesota, being from East St. Paul. You know, early on when I first was getting into the business, you know, one of the biggest things that I always faced was, you know, a lot of hiring managers at the time, this was more than 10 years ago, one of the contingencies that I always faced was if I would be willing to use a stage name, because Chenue Her in more rural areas of America was, you know, probably not going to be very attractive to viewers. And so that was always something that I was not willing to compromise. I was willing to move away from my family. I was willing to take jobs for not a whole lot of money, but I was not willing to compromise, you know, that part of me, because my name it was given to me at birth by my parents, blessed by my grandparents, and my name is very Hmong. And so that was something that I was not willing to compromise. And so as I stayed in the business, I just really still grasped and stuck true to my roots as a Hmong American. And it's got me this far, so it's worked, right?
And it does take courage.
Yeah.
It does.
I mean, I was scared, you know, because it's being young and inexperienced, you know, do you really say no to a job offer potentially because of something at that time, I guess, to me, I mean, I didn't know any better, but to me at the time, you know, I would, even in my own mind, kind of go back and forth. Oh, is it a huge deal to just, you know, use a stage name? Is that a big deal? But now looking back, I'm glad that I made that decision. So,
Yeah, you stayed true to yourself.
So we were talking about this earlier before the show started. You know, this journey has come with a lot of firsts. How did your family first react when you told them, Mom, Dad, I want to work in news?
I think a couple speakers already said that tonight. My parents were like, you don't want a real job? There's medical school, there's law school, you can be an accountant, you can be an engineer. Yeah, my parents definitely had fears and a lot of questions, but you know, now being a little bit older and looking back, I think it was more so concerned because they wanted me to obviously, you know, have a career and be able to provide for myself. And we didn't know any Hmong people in TV news, especially at the time. And you know, it, like you, so many of you have probably heard before, but when you, growing up, you look at the TV or you watch a movie, you don't see someone who looks like you. So is this a space that we can be in? And I think that was the concern. And then I, one day, saw a Hmong news anchor in Wisconsin, Owasso, Wisconsin, Vang, who works for the BBB
Shout
here
out
now.
to
Yeah,
Bao.
shout out
Yeah,
Bao.
I know her.
So yeah, you know Bao. So I was in high school at the time, I believe, and I don't even know how I found her email. I was, I guess, a little reporter back then, even before I got into the business. I found her email and like just cold emailed her and was like, hey, I'm Hmong, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, going to school for this. And she responded, and we just kind of stayed in touch, you know, ever since then. And I think once my parents saw like just one person just one Hmong person in the business, they're like, okay, well, we'll see like where this goes, you know. And so Bao's been very influential in my life, my career, ever since then.
Amazing, and so many people do that, and
Oh, yeah.
within the industry and different industries, I'm sure. But this kind of leads into an audience question. You know, you mentioned Bao were people of your own culture, but how have you navigated being in, you know, predominantly white spaces? Have you experienced like allyship? Because that's predominantly who's around. So you want to feel accepted there too.
Yeah, and you know, I think that is something that why every time I've moved to a new city or I've started a new job at a different station, I've always been very observant. I trust my gut a lot when I'm going through the process of talking to everybody, and I've been very fortunate to land in stations that have been very supportive of who I am, and I'm fortunate to be in that position now. I mean, you know, when I came to Fox 9, they were so transparent and straightforward, and they wanted me for just me. They didn't want me to be this or to be that or to be in this box. They got to know me and they said, okay, that's like, just be you. And I think that to me really solidified that this was a place I wanted to be.
Cool.
So you're still this significant trailblazer for your community, regardless of what you're doing right now. Sorry, I'm tripping on my words. I guess where I'm trying to go is, what has it been like to represent Hmong people and in culture across the broader United States now?
I mean, first and foremost, it's an honor to be able to do that, and it is, you know, like Mike mentioned earlier, it's a responsibility, and it's something that you know, I take seriously, and so but I enjoy it too, because I think it allows me to be able to connect with Hmong people from all over. I mean, when I first started anchoring in Des Moines, you know, I would look at our like digital numbers and like who like streaming and stuff, and I'm like, who in Laos is streaming Good Morning Iowa? You know, so we were getting our morning show streamed from all over the country, and even like Laos and Thailand. I'm like, I don't know who's streaming Des Moines, Iowa morning news, but that's pretty cool. And I still get messages from people all over the country. You know, just glad to see someone who looks like me in the industry. And, you know, and the thing is, like, I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for people like Vang, Bua Zhang, when she was working at Care 11 way back in the day. I mean, Bua was very, very pivotal in that. Gia Vang, who was here, she was the first Hmong anchor in the Twin Cities. So I had a lot of Hmong sisters that really paved the way for me to follow, and they've been great, and they've guided me through it all. So
yeah, Chenue, we're so glad you're home. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Yeah, thank you. We'll catch up with you after this video.
Thank you so much. Hold on, I gotta find my place in our script.
I think we're tossing a nice video here.
Oh, yes, we are. This event has come with a lot of magnificent firsts. And of course, we couldn't capture every single person in the world, but we did, Sahan did manage to find some time to walk into the community across Minneapolis, St. Paul, and try to get some local voices, see what their firsts were in their families. And if you want to go and divert your eyes to that beautiful face on my left-hand side, we're gonna have to play a video for you guys, yeah?
It's just us. Just kidding. No. We're just waiting.
I was the first person raised here in my family.
My first accomplishment would be opening up my own salon. Yeah, and without having any knowledge of anything, I had a passion, I had a goal, and I conquered it.
I'm the first one to graduate, well, the first male to graduate in my immediate family from high school, first male to go to college, and I'm the only union member and the first one pretty much to buy a house too. So I'm the first for a lot of stuff.
My first accomplishment is becoming a CNA in the family.
I'm actually a first generation Korean. My parents immigrated here from Korea. My mom was 15, dad was 25. I'm the first one in my family to get a college education in America.
My first accomplishment was going back to school to be a phlebotomist.
Me, I'm the 7th generation, so we're kind of breaking that cycle now so that the younger generations can see that.
It's a dream that is achievable, and of course, you know, anything great and celebratory is going to take a lot of work, but definitely it's achievable.
I wanted to start a business, and that's what I wanted to do, and I've been pretty lucky so far, coming up on 19 years now. I'm not saying that I'm smart. I'm just saying a lot of hard work and a lot of luck that go into it.
It felt really numb because you don't realize that this is something you can do until you actually do it, and then it's it's like you have this feeling where it's like, whoa, did I really actually do this?
I think that just being the first leads a pathway to, to anybody who's coming up behind you as siblings, or, even I have foster siblings as well.
Not everybody can do that and have to go through what you got to go through as a CNA, working at a hospital.
I feel like I want to model for our Asian community, our Asian students, scholars, that, if you put your mind to it, it's achievable.
I can teach all of my family members, my siblings, my cousins, everybody, how to do certain things, and give them the shortcut so that they don't have to go through the process I had to.
I had guidance from my older siblings. They opened up their own business too, but not a physical business.
My mom was a CNA/nurse, and we grew up watching her as a nurse. My goal was to be a nurse, but nursing school was really hard, and I was going through some difficult things at that time, so I stopped. And phlebotomy was the next thing.
When I started that second restaurant after the first successful one, I thought I was the smartest person in the world, right? So the advice that I would give is, you know what? Do your due diligence. Listen to the smart people.
Being a firstborn leader it's a lot heavier than what people think it is. Leadership roles take a lot of being humble and being patient.
It sets a standard for the rest of the generation after me, so that we can do it, and the older generation, they don't have to be the role models no more.
Now that I'm a grandmother, I understand the things that she told me that I didn't think I was gonna need in my life.
Along the way, was it hard? Yes, absolutely, because my parents didn't know how to navigate the system, and so I had to navigate that on my own. But once I got married, my husband was really, really a key player in how my success went, because he was such a motivator.
Success is just based off of what you put in your mind. If you doubt yourself, then you're going to set yourself up for failure. But if you tell yourself, dude, nothing is going to stop me from accomplishing, then you made success right there from the start of the day.
Do not give up. There's always going to be days where you feel like you haven't made it yet, but honestly, do not give up and just keep pushing forward.
I've never had anyone in my life tell me I couldn't do it. And my family have always been very supportive, and very thankful for that, to have come from a very well nourishing background.
I'd like to tell my mother thank you, and I love you. And I know you're smiling down on me.
You may be successful, but on the flip side, you may fail, but by failing, you're gonna learn a hard financial lesson for the next time.
So you just gotta find what your passion is and what clicks for you, and that really is in and of itself, because there's a lot of people around you that may say you can succeed, but you've got to believe in yourself too.
Oh man, I got so much joy. I'm like way up here. Can't nobody bring me down. This is a beautiful thing. I'm living a good life. I'm on the winning side.
I came to a point where I was like, I'm convincing myself to do something I hate. I go, what if I convinced myself to do something I like?
If you truly feel that this business is going to succeed, go for it. And go ahead and do it.
I'm happy, but I feel like my mission is not complete. No, I feel like there's always going to be more out there.
You can accomplish anything you put your mind to. Don't let nobody hold you back or say you can't do something.
Organizer of this event, Hannah Ikramadi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And we want to be, conscious of everyone's time, so we're going to do one question and hoping that everyone can take turns giving an answer. Just one more snippet that we wanted with all of you, and to see you all on stage together is so beautiful. For others who are aspiring to be the first in their family or community to do something, what would you give them for advice? Let's just go with Chenue and then go down the road.
Man, that's a good question. I think I would say just know have a plan. First of all, have a plan, and just know what motivates you. Know where your roots are. Know who your circle is. Who's going to prop you up when things don't necessarily go right. Because that was the biggest thing that really pushed me through those really, really hard times where I would send out 30, 40 demo reels, applications, and I get no responses. And I would think that, all right, this is it. Like, I'm gonna go work at Target, and it was really my parents and my siblings that really kept me going through all of those really tough years. And now they're still very supportive, but they also keep me very grounded, so that I'm still have perspective, and I still can keep myself motivated and keep going. Like now they'll be like, I'll be having a good day, and they'll be like, all right, you're so short though, all right? So calm down, So they keep me grounded, and then I appreciate that. And so, yeah, just find those people in your life that can really be real with you, and can support you, and can keep you grounded, and just, stay true to your roots.
Totally. Michael?
I would probably say something my dad told me was anything you do, give it 100%. Don't give 70, 80% because there's still that 20 to 30% that you're losing where you could be improving on. And that kind of stuck with me because he said, hey, like if you do that, if you give 100%, you don't have to look back with any regret. And I think that's why right now with me retiring, I don't regret anything, because when I look back on my training, my nutrition, everything I put in to become a footballer, that I gave 100%. And I pushed my body to the limit to where I was on my knees, trying to get air. Obviously, that was all through my dad's training. But yeah, those words that he told me really stuck with me, and that's kind of what I lived by throughout my career. And I would really, really push that to the next generation.
And Senator Mohamed?
Wow, I don't know how you go after that. I would say, first of all, it's important. Well, being the first means you're the first one to do it in your community, right, for whatever you're doing. But there are many other sectors that people are the first to do so. And so speaking with other people who have been the first, talking to other people who have sort of been through similar experiences. But I would say the most important thing is to believe in yourself and to understand why you're doing it. And then create a really small circle that trusts and believes in you and motivates you. And it is a lonely process. And no one tells you about the applications that you're applying for, the no's, the haters. But just believe in yourself and shut off the negative voices and do what you can.
Ramona?
Oh boy, okay. I'm not good at giving people advice. I can't even take my own advice. But I'll say, vulnerability is not a bad thing, okay? So I guess my advice is more of like, just put yourself out there, just do it. Yes, it is hard, it is a lonely road, yes. But I'll say, just do it, and then just know who you are, just be grounded. And then, whatever feedback or, whatever people say is their opinions, but you do you, and you just be you. So, yeah.
Abenezer?
Don't read the comments. That's what I said. Honestly, it is kind of just a thing of just doing, because it's like, even if it's like something that you like nobody you know has done, I'm sure just do the first thing. And I mean, different from advice you've heard up here, I say don't plan. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, just take the first step. Like, don't be too nervous about the outcome, because like, I think the way I thought about it was like, I would rather do this now, fail miserably, and like lick my wounds and like be happy, I guess, with that I like gave something a shot. Like, rather than not do it, but always be like, I could have, yeah, that'd be my advice.
And Rodrigo?
The first thing I recommended to do is define what you want to do. Set up your goals really, really high. Even if you accomplish really small things, then they're gonna see you go really, really high. Have discipline. And go forward. I mean, be brave. I be in this country when I was 32 years old. I don't born in this country, but I mean, yeah, I don't believe in the American dream. I believe in hard work. I believe in discipline. I believe in goals.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Yes, and I think if you really think where you wanna be in 2 years, where you're gonna be in 3 years, where you're gonna be in 5 years. If I can do it, you can do it too.
Make your dreams a reality. Thank you so much to all of our trailblazers. Let's give them a round of applause, really. Thank you for your vulnerability and everything that you shared. Chenue Her, Michael Vang, Remona Htoo, Rodrigo Cala, Zaynab Mohamed, and of course our wonderful performer tonight, Abenezer Merdassa. Again, just another round of applause. Thank you so much, truly.
And of course, we want to thank our sponsor one last time. This event wouldn't be possible without the generous sponsorship of Minnesota Home Ownership Center. Don't forget to meet with one of their home ownership advisors after the program to learn about the First Generation Home Buyers Community Down Payment Assistance Fund. That's a mouthful. And get your sweet grab bag. They do have oven mitts, which I needed one. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone at Sahan Journal, NPR News, and the St. Paul Neighborhood Network for helping us organize this, produce and broadcast this wonderful event. Finally, thank you all of us who joined us here in St. Paul and were willing to listen to us yap for a while. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.